Put down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back with a brand new episode. I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you're listening to the podcast of two dads going through the journey of fatherhood while you all listen to us do it week in and week out. And Brandon, how has your week been, my friend?
It's been pretty good. I feel like, especially after last week's episode, Bryce has been a little bit more tolerant of Dad. He definitely still has a little parental preference, but it's been a good week overall. What about you?
Our week has been very roller coastery, up and down, some highs, some lows. We'll get into that here, but before we do, the show is called Dad Jokes for a reason. We always like to have a couple dad jokes on the show. Brandon, would you like to lead off today, or would you like to go second?
I'll lead off, and I'll give people a warning. This
Okay.
one's PG-13 to a little innuendo-y, but
Oh,
we'll see where we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Jerry, what happens when you smash a lemon without protection?
Pain.
You get lemonades.
Oh,
Lemonades.
Nice.
I thought that joke was
you think
hilarious.
it's too funny. Mine's interesting today. Mine's very dad jokey today. So we'll see. We'll see what we think of that. Mine's not PG-13,
Mine was not.
so
We
I like
we
it.
can thank Reddit for that.
So Brandon, what else has been going on in the Banks household this last week since we talked?
So Bryce is on a hunger strike, unless it's fries, which is kind of related to
Fries,
our topic
okay.
today. He loves fries. That boy loves some fries. You can always get
Who
him
doesn't?
fries and Indian food. But he is not eating great.
Does he dip the fries?
Interestingly enough, if dip is available, but then it turns into he just will pound ketchup. Like he'll just take mounds.
But he
of
doesn't
ketchup.
cry if he doesn't get ketchup. Like Peyton will not eat something unless
no.
Oh, that's lucky. Yeah. If she's got something she wants to dip and has no dip, she will make it well known.
He's not a big dipper. Shout out to the constellation. But he's been that's a dad joke too. He's been sleeping great actually, which I know you love to hear. But straight through the night, really haven't had issues since we had about a week and a half, 2 week stretch about a month ago, and before that he was great, and after that he's been great. An interesting thing, and you and I were talking about dogs and our kids with dogs a little bit earlier today at work, and it's funny because he's in an interesting stage with Riley where he thinks Riley is the coolest thing ever. He loves to play with Riley, but he's starting to understand what he can do that annoys Riley or scares Riley. And he is intentionally, this is not good, but it's hilarious. Like he has like a little he's like a walking stick that like, it's one of those like toys that you walk with it. It has like bubbles, not real bubbles, but like balls actually in like a enclosure, and as you roll it, the balls pop, basically.
Right.
And Riley hates this toy. He absolutely hates this toy. And it's gotten to the point where Bryce will try to chase Riley around the house with not only this, but like anything. And like he thinks it's hilarious to run after Riley. And it is like we are constantly telling him, hey, no, that like don't run after Riley with things. That's not cool. But today, like Riley was kind of hanging out on the couch with me, and like he had got on the couch because Bryce was playing with this toy, and Riley like preemptively was like, bro, I know what you about to try to do with that. So he just came up on the couch. And this has been the benefit because I normally don't let Riley on the couch, and I've just been like, you know what, it's fine. You're getting terrorized. Like don't do it.
You can come here for protection,
Dude. The look on Bryce's face when he knows he's scaring Riley, and so he'll have him like not quite cornered. Like Riley always has a way out, or he can just go through Bryce if he really wanted to. But he like, instead of just chasing him now, he like jumps at him. Or like jump,
Oh, boy.
like he flinches at him with the toy, and yeah, honestly, this is like I'm describing this. This is not good behavior, but it took everything I had not to bust out laughing today because I've never seen him do it like this. Like where you can see the look on his face where he realizes that Riley is like he's gonna get a reaction out of Riley. Like Riley's gonna jump back, and he just
Right.
like trying to time it perfectly. He honestly acts like me. Like he's trying to time it perfectly and then flinch at him, and it is something that we need to nip in the bud. Because I mean, you and I were talking about it earlier. There's going to be a time, and knock on wood, this ain't gonna happen because Riley's super patient. But Riley probably owes Bryce like a nip,
Yeah, it's
and
like one too many.
yeah, he probably owes him like a cool little like don't do that no more. And so we're trying to teach Bryce how to interact with the dog the right way. But that is something as we've had an episode on pets. We might need a recursor because this it's Bryce's in Bryce's mind he's playing and he loves Riley. He's always hugging Riley, petting Riley, but he's starting to become a little terrorist. So we got to watch out. Soccer started back up this past Sunday. For whatever reason, Kelsey's parents were in town. They watched Bryce overnight for us while we went to a wedding. And it seems like for some reason, because he loves his Kiki, he loves his mom. When he's at soccer and they're there, he is just distracted. And it is so he did not have the best time at soccer. He was super whiny. I could tell before we left the house, I told Kelsey this is going to be a long one. And he normally is not a problem at soccer. But I give him like a solid C- for his performance while we were there.
You're making me feel better about not signing Peyton up for round 2.
Man, he wasn't. I honestly, he does better at home. Like he does all the stuff.
I agree.
Sure,
yeah, 100%.
I'm sure it's gonna be fine going forward. Like I feel like that's his 8th soccer session, and he's probably had maybe 1.5 times, including this last one. It didn't go great, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And then the last thing, we're gonna hit up the Toledo Zoo. We've never been there as a family. Kelsey actually and I have never been there together either. But I remember the Detroit Zoo is what's kind of close to us. Toledo isn't that far away, but they have a really good reputation as well. So give Bryce a little bit different scenery, and we're excited about it. It'll be really a good time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think if Avery wasn't terrible in the car, we might join you. But driving that far with Avery sounds like a daunting task. But yeah, like Brandon, I told you our week was kind of up and down. Macy's back to work now, and this coming weekend, or this past weekend, I mean, was the first weekend she was going to be working. And we work the same weekends, but I work Saturday till 3, and then I'm home, the rest of Saturday and all of Sunday. Macy works till after 8 o'clock by the time she gets home. So I knew I was going to be having both kids for all day Sunday and a lot of Saturday. And people are funny because they act like dads like don't know how to watch kids, right? So it's like, oh, are you nervous? Are you gonna be able to handle it? Like, yeah, I can watch my kids, right? But at the same time, there's an amount of anxiety that comes with it. I think a little bit too, just because for that long period of time, Peyton and me early on, Peyton was colicky. You had to figure out a routine, but then you figure out a routine and you're good. Well, now with 2, your routine's going to be messed up. But really, the reason I had a little bit of anxiety is because Avery was terrible the few days before Macy was going to be gone for the weekend. And so I'm like, man, she's being terrible. She's a handful by herself. Plus, you got Peyton, and Peyton, although she's at a fun age, is constantly getting into stuff, right? You got to watch her. She's running around. She's kind of needy, so she's a handful too. So I'm just like, okay, this is going to be an interesting weekend. But tell you the truth, Avery ended up being pretty dang great the whole weekend. She definitely wasn't perfect. She had moments, but for the most part, behaved about as well as I could have asked. Much better than she did the few days before. So big shout out to Avery there. Peyton actually gave me a little bit more problems. She wasn't bad, but she definitely had some fits, some related to our topic today. But she went through some meltdowns and highs and lows, but for the most part, she was pretty good too. So overall, Brandon, I would say it was a pretty good success for Dad's first weekend with the kids. I was able to get some stuff done, get them fed, get them, baths one night. I did both the baths by myself. I mean, pretty much everything we normally would have done, which was good. The only real struggle points. Mom
With
was
going
up.
back to work?
She was upset, but we sent her a lot of pictures. She's definitely. I think it hit us both this time harder because it's just again with one you can hit two's. You're gonna find out here, Brandon. Two's just a different ball game. I won't lie to you. I anticipated two versus one being tough, but it's probably tougher than even I anticipated. It's challenging. Like you got two, especially at the ages they're at, and trying to take care of them both can be difficult. Especially like the hardest times are definitely food times. So like lunch, because you got to get Peyton in her seats. You got to get her food. You got to make sure she's not throwing it everywhere. Taking care of the normal food stuff. But then you got the other one too, and then like I got to get her a bottle, so I got to make sure she's taking the bottle right, and that she's being fed. It's a lot, right? And then usually like Peyton gets kind of cranky around lunchtime because it's close to her nap time. Same thing with dinner time. So it's just a whole thing around food. But for the most part, it went fairly well. I can't
Man,
complain.
wait till Avery starts crawling.
Oh, I mean, well, I'm hoping at that point in time, Peyton's a little bit more like able to like not need constant supervision, but probably I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it'll be interesting. You'll find out. It's a lot of it's good, but it's a lot. I won't lie. You don't get the breaks you did with one. Like it's not like you can relax while they're on a nap or you can put them down for a little bit and get some stuff done. No, you're pretty much constantly going. Um, but the weekend, like I said, the weekend I can't complain with that. I was pretty happy. Unfortunately, though, as soon as the weekend ended, Avery decided to revert back to angry Avery. And
Uh-oh.
last night might have been our worst night ever with her. I kid you not, Brandon. I don't think Macy and I got a total of 2 hours of sleep. It was bad. She was up the whole night, would not go back to sleep, was screaming, uncomfortable, kicking, nothing, and it was to the point where like I tried taking her in the other room and rocking her. Macy tried doing, but you can hear her. We're both awake. So even if Macy's taking care of her, I'm awake. If I'm taking care of her, she's awake. It was just not a good night. So I'm hoping tonight is a
You
better
also
night.
don't want to be that person who's snoring in the room while your partner's
No, I mean we were
not
both
happy.
over it. It
Yeah.
was a rough night. I finally got her to bed like 10 minutes before I had to get up. So yay me. So that was not
You probably
great.
still got up and worked out this morning.
I did because I had 10 minutes of my thing, and I was like, at this point, I might as well work out. What's the difference between getting 30 minutes of sleep or 10 more? I was gonna be dead tired regardless. So I
I
actually
would have got my
did.
30 minutes.
So
But you
I
can
was
tell
actually
the
happy I
difference when
did.
you look at our profile pictures.
A couple of things. Peyton is absolutely obsessed, and I mean obsessed with blankets right now. It's really cute, but it's hilarious. I mean all blankets. And the dog loves blankets too, so she's obsessed with the dog's blankets and her own blankets, her sister's blankets. And I mean every morning she's wrapped in a blanket in her crib. And then every day when we're playing, she'll run to her chair, wrap herself in a blanket and sit in her chair for a little bit and just talk to herself. And then if she sees a blanket, she wants to grab it. I mean, the kid loves blankets right now. It's really cute, but it's funny. She wants a blanket. She'll like act like it's a dress and she'll carry it around, or she'll give you a blanket. So she's a big time into blankets right now. We also figured out like I don't remember if I told you, Brandon, but for a long time she was doing this thing where she would like walk around a room and she would look at you and she would tap her like chin or her lips and go, huh, hmm, and just like then start blabbering. But I'm like, where did she get this from? She would look like quizzical and she'd be like, huh, hmm, like all the time for like 20 minutes straight. And I'd be like, what is she doing? And I could not figure it out. Macy could not figure it out. And this has been, I don't know, a month or two she's been doing
I
this.
remember you brought this up a few podcasts ago.
Yep. So then the other morning, I was getting ready. I put on your favorite, Miss Rachel, and guess who goes, and taps her chin? Freaking Miss Rachel. I
I
think
should have
that's where
picked
she
up
got
on
it
that. I know
from.
exactly what you're talking about too.
Yep. I think that's where, I mean, it must be where she got it from. Cause I'm like, I never do that. Macy doesn't do that. I'm like, what the heck is she getting this from? So I think that she's stealing that from Miss Rachel. So that was kind of cute. And once we
Shout out
figured
to
that
Miss
out,
Rachel.
yep. So that was pretty good. Um, and then I will tell you a funny story because obviously, as dad, you got to tell a good poop story every once in a while. Um, Last night or maybe 2 nights ago, I can't remember. Macy was working. I worked late. I got home and my in-laws were watching the baby, and Avery was cashed out on my mother-in-law. Peyton was playing, And so my mother-in-law like, oh, you want the baby? I was like, sure. So I take the baby. I'm holding her on the couch, talking to Peyton. I go to move the baby right after my in-laws leave. And I'm like, oh, she's kind of wet. And all of a sudden I look down and she's not wet. She has pooped straight through her pajamas onto me. Like, not like,
Whoa.
yeah, like I'm like my joggers got poop on them. The PJs are all the way through, and I'm like, what the? So I got to rush her over to the changing table,
It's
and
been a minute
I
since that happened.
take the one or the onesie or whatever you call it, the pajamas off, right? And I realized I'm not blaming my in-laws. I don't know what happened, but the diaper was completely off to the side, like wasn't covering her butt. So basically, she just pooped into the pajamas and onto me. So a couple things. One, I'm trying to clean this all up. Peyton's
You
being a
definitely blamed them
psycho.
in your head.
Oh, in my head, I'm like, what is going on? But I mean, she could have moved too. But like, it's just crazy because now I'm trying to clean her up. She's crying, but I got poop like everywhere. Like it's on me. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna throw this, right? Because like normally you wrap it in the diaper, but the diaper is not even. It's worthless at this point, right? So I'm grabbing all these wipes. I'm grabbing a bag. I'm trying to wipe her off because she's got it all over her with like 1,000 wipes. And this is all like I get home at like 7:30. Macy's going to be home at 8, and this is all in between this time. This is all I'm doing is cleaning up poop. I'm trying to rinse off the pajamas, which I found out later, the pajamas that she came home from the hospital in, and now they might be ruined, so Macy's mad at me for that. But so I'm trying to clean those off.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
yowza.
trying to get her. It was a nightmare. And then Macy walks in right as long I'm done, and she's like, "Oh, how is everyone?" I'm like, "No, I'm not great." So, um, that was that was my poop story. But other than that, it's been a pretty good week. Um, I'll go over something in my piece of baby gear, but before I do, Brandon, what's your piece of baby gear for the week?
So I get home today, and Kelsey tells me basically, and this could go under things my wife said as well. She said, I ordered something or something along those lines. And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, you literally tell me that every day.
I was gonna say, what's new?
Yeah. But what she ordered, Bryce, was Elf on the Shelf. And it's not just
Okay,
any Elf on the Shelf. It's an Elf on the Shelf kit with 24 days worth of props.
24.
Yeah.
So for Christmas, okay, that
So
makes sense. I get it.
yeah, so basically leading up to Christmas, and I've never done Elf on the Shelf growing up. Apparently, you hide the shelf or the elf different spots around the house. Like it's always watching. You need to do better. Kids actually kind of creepy to me if you tell you the truth. But
Yeah,
it's kind of cute. But people like put the elves in like different positions and like they're at different spots in the house. Yada yada yada. But this kit has a bunch of different like stuff. Like you can have that has like a bowling alley and like basketball hoops and different ways to prop it up. That sounds kind of extravagant, but that's literally what this comes with. So not only is Bryce going to do Elf on the Shelf this year, but his elf is going to be super athletic and into a lot of different activities as well.
it's a
So
LTZ
spoiled
of
that
Elf on
already.
the Shelf.
Hey, it sounds like it. But it actually wasn't that from a price standpoint. It wasn't that bad. It was right around $40 with everything that you get. So maybe that is bad. Maybe that's not bad. I don't know. It seemed reasonable to me after she told me. Jerry's making a face right now. But if you want it, you can find it on Etsy. Just search Elf Kit 2023. 31
We've
days
never
of
done
Christmas
Elf
or
on
something
the
like that.
Shelf, but we're a big fan of like unique advent calendars. We did a Bluey one last year. We've done
I do
Lego
remember that.
Hogwarts one before. We've done Star Wars. I mean, so we like good
She
advent. We
bought
did
a
Pops
calendar as
characters.
well.
There you go. So I'm sure we'll do that soon. My piece of baby gear is a follow up on last week's, which I said I was going to do. I built that art table, which was a huge success. And Peyton absolutely loves it. Has been drawing on it every day, playing with it like all the time. So I'm definitely happy we got it. So much so that she did do her first toddler draw on the wall with a pink marker. Luckily, my wife is smart enough to
Yeah.
buy the super washable marker, so it came right off. But I'm literally changing the baby, look over, and she's drawing on the wall with pink marker. And I'm like, no. Luckily it wiped right off, but it was a scary moment there for a
It's probably gonna
second.
happen one or two more times at
Oh, for
least.
sure. But no, she absolutely loves this art table, and honestly, I did a lot of research and I was on the fence between a bunch, and I'm really happy with the one we got. It's the Infans, Infans 2-in-1 kids art table and chair set. It's white. It's on Amazon. But what's cool about it is it's got like little cubbies with like 6 different like containers to hold things. It's got 4 different cups that hold things. It has a storage drawer that folds up. It's got a paper roll that slides, so you have a big piece of paper that covers the table so they can color on that. It folds up into an easel. It's got 2 chairs. I mean, it's got a lot, and it doesn't take up a big footprint. Like, it fits nicely in our house. It's white. It doesn't look gaudy or dumb. And it's not too bad. It's about $200. But it's like I said, it is good quality. It wasn't terrible to put together. Not easy, but far as that furniture goes, it wasn't terrible. And so far, she absolutely loves it. Like I said, the kid loves coloring. She loves art. So we're happy with that purchase. It has gone about as well as it could have. So that's my piece of baby gear. And then Brandon, I know you mentioned a thing my wife said. I do have one of those too. It actually was just tonight when we were putting the kids down. We were talking about last night, me and Macy, because Avery was being, as we would term, a psychopath all night long. And we were talking about how crazy it was, and hopefully tonight's better. And she goes, "Can you imagine if we had a boy next and he was just a sweet little boy and just a well-behaved baby?" And I said, "You very well know if we have another kid, it's going to be a girl, and she's going to be worse than these two." So there's a combination between what she said and I said, because I'm like, and she's like, "Yeah, you're absolutely right." I'm like, there is no way we're getting a sweet little boy. It will be a crazy girl, because that's apparently all we know how to have is cranky little crazy girls that give us a run for our money. So that was the thing my
Hey,
wife
you
said
never
this
know.
week. You never know.
And actually, one quick thing
uh-huh.
before we jump into the topic. This is kind of going back to baby gear, but check your local Targets. A few in the area have had 70% off. This is like an in-store deal, but 70% off of like the drivable kids' toys. So
Oh,
Bryce
really?
did get he did get a nice toy that I haven't set up yet, but it's a big tractor dump truck.
That might
Over
be
the
on the
weekend.
birthday or Christmas list for Pate, because she's got a November, December kind of thing that goes on there. And that was kind of
I
one
would
of our
definitely check
ideas.
them out. I would definitely check them out. This thing was $500, and I
Well,
got it
you,
for
you
like
gave Macy an
less than
excuse to check
$140.
Target out, so it didn't matter what you said. It was an excuse.
Go,
She's just going to
you need to
blame
go
you.
in store. Target. It was like
Oh,
$100
you're
cheaper
speaking
than the
her language
website.
even more now. So,
Well, you're welcome, Mason.
yeah. Thanks, Brandon. My credit cards, thank you. Uh, no, that's funny. But yeah, Brandon, I think that's a good place for us to get into today's topic. Today's topic, for anyone who has kids that are small. I mean, what I mean small is probably anywhere from like 1 until, I don't know, 16. This is probably a relevant topic, but that is the topic of snacking. Uh, and when we're talking about snacking, we're going to talk about a little bit what you can do to help maybe alleviate from kids snacking too much, or how you can handle snacking. How can you do healthy choices? What are pros, cons to it all? We'll kind of go dive into it, because I know for me, Brandon, at least, we are definitely in the snacking phase where Peyton wants snacks all day long. She just wants stuff constantly, and she knows how to get to the cabinet where all the snacks are, and knows how to pull on the handle. Can't open it, but pull on the handle enough and will cry enough to where you go, "What do you want?" So we'll get into snacking. But Brandon, kind of what have your experiences been with Bryson snacking? Is he a bad snacker? Is he something that it's been for a long time, short period of time? Like, what do you guys have dealt with?
So I don't know if, and I might just be a naive dad. I don't know if I would categorize it as good or bad right now. It's definitely regulated by us, but it really depends on how like lunch and dinner went, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner went as well. Sometimes we know we can get him a snack that'll kind of supplement the lack of food intake he had in one of those moments. But what I'll say is he definitely knows how to take advantage of the system, or take advantage of mom and dad in that regard. Because,
They
and
do.
luckily, the a lot of what Kelsey buys are still kind of packed with the right nutrients and stuff like that at this age as well. So a snack for him is not that bad. But I mean, if there's a word that I like, it's so cute when he first started saying it, but peas, which is him saying
Mm-hmm.
please. And you mentioned that Peyton knows where everything is. Bryce knows every cabinet, where every individual. So he knows where to go for like his crackers specifically. And he has there. We actually did this on purpose, but there are like some prepackaged snacks that are reachable for him in one section of the kitchen. And so he'll go over there and pull every single one of them out if he really wants it, and then he'll bring it over to you. You'll say no, not right now. He'll go grab another one, bring it over, and say please, and then you say no. And a lot of times, in his defense, it's a war of attrition, and he gets his way probably more often than not. And that's on mom and dad. But to start with the background of Bryce, like you asked, he definitely knows how to cheat his system. He knows what he wants, when he wants it, and knows how to ask for it.
Yeah, you said, he says please all the time. Peyton loves to stand by that cabinet and sign please constantly.
Yep.
And like super fast too. Like if she does it faster, she'll get it she'll get the snack
Or
quicker.
yeah,
And
you need to hurry up and get this for me.
yeah, and Macy organized our pantry, which was super nice, but she organized it and she put like Peyton snacks all on like a lower level. But the problem is Peyton can get to them all, right? And the annoying part for us is that like I'll open it sometimes. I'll be like, fine, you can have a snack. And she can see them all. I'll even be like, pick what you want because they're all, about the same healthiness. It's not like one's terrible and one's good. But she will literally look at them all, play with it, and then like won't pick something. And I'm like, just pick something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want? And then she finally picks something. And then like, let's say she wants a banana even, which is good for you. Great, right? Like the other night she had to have a banana. And I'm like,
Banana.
okay. And then she eats 2 bites and leaves it and is
Yep.
done. And that's what drives me nuts. Like if you need a
That drives
snack,
me
if you're
absolutely
really that
insane.
hungry, fine, I'll get you food. But I
Or if you
cannot
ask for it by
stand.
name.
Yes. If you do something and like but she when she eats it or and then like is done in 2 seconds, it drives me nuts. Or when she just had lunch but didn't finish her lunch but wants a snack 5 minutes later. That's what drives me nuts too. It's like you just had food, much better food, you know, um, and then you want it 5 minutes later. So
See,
that's
I
the things
might
that
deal
drive
with
me
that a
insane.
little bit better than you. I still chalked it up to their age, so I'm not really harping on Bryce not completely finishing and wanting a snack later. But the one thing he does more than anything else that drives me crazy is he will ask for a snack. He'll finally get. This happened the other day. He finally gets what he wants, and it's like these little like. It's funny the stuff Kelsey buys. Like it's like hidden veggie like cheese puffs, so that they have
Okay.
like a
Yep.
daily serving of vegetables
Mm-hmm.
in them. But they taste pretty good. They're basically chips, but they trick you into thinking they're good for the kids.
It's
So
like veggie
whatever.
straws.
Yeah, it's essentially. So he asked for these things, like, and I'm talking. He put on his best show asking for these. So I'm like, and I low key think he had asked Kelsey before I got home. She probably said no, and I come home and hey, great to see you. He holding the chips and I give it to him. So she kind of giggled to herself. He disappears with the chips, and unfortunately, Riley follows him everywhere.
Oh, yep.
But
And then they
if he
feed the
really doesn't
dog.
want some, all of a sudden he's
Mm.
right back in my face like 3 seconds later. And this is it's a little baby bag of chips, but he should be snacking on these for like 5-10 minutes. Like it got enough in there.
Yep. He fed them all to the
Not
dog.
30 seconds past, he's over by us, and I don't hear anything. I'm like, Riley, come here. Nothing. Riley, come here. I'm like, I know. I walk up. I go over by the kitchen table. The purple bag is on the floor, the little mini bag, and completely empty. Riley's over there, nothing on
Yep.
the ground, no evidence, and Bryce is asking for more of the same bag.
Yep.
When I know for a fact he gave it to him. So
Yeah.
that absolutely drives me nuts.
Oh, it drives me nuts too. Peyton loves animal crackers. I mean, she has a giant tub of them. And every time we give her animal crackers, she crawls under the table, the kitchen table. She'll have like a bowl of them, right? And she'll eat them, but then she eats one and gives one to Raja. And I'm like yelling at the dog. But of course, they're under the
Yep.
table, so it's like hard.
Oh
And
yeah.
then,
It's not the
it
dog's fault.
drives me nuts. And the other day, guess what? Raja puked, and guess what was in there? Animal crackers. And I'm
Yeah.
like, stop. But she loves to feed the dog, and the dog follows her and knows exactly. So you're absolutely right there. That does drive me insane. But I think we kind of hit on a couple of things that's important when you think of snacking. One thing and this is something that I need to help remind myself too. But like some people think like, okay, my kid doesn't eat meals. They only want a snack. This is terrible. But if you can think of snacking as meals, as food, then it can kind of change your perspective a little bit. But what's key with that is when the kid snacks, have high quality snacks, meaning have healthy things, have things of substance. Don't like it just be like wasted calories. Let it be stuff that actually is, filling them up, is going to keep them content for a while. Because if you're just giving them like empty calories or stuff that they're going to burn through quickly, like sugar, like fruit snacks and stuff, then they're going to keep wanting to be hungry and they're just going to keep wanting them. So if you can have snacks like vegetables and fruits, and like you said, like, even like veggie chips and stuff that's like we do graham crackers every once in a while, right? Where it's like a little bit of substance, but it's not bad for them. Those types of things will help because now they're actually getting the food that maybe they're not getting from the meals, but you're not feeding them a bunch of junk either. So that's key. And the other key with that I'll mention too, Brandon, is if you're going to do that route, have, 5, 6, 7, 8 things, but be pretty consistent with them. Because if you switch it up, or if you have like 2 maybe really good things, like as far as like sugary or, that they like a lot, and then other things they don't, then they're always going to want those things when they snack. So if you have similar snacks and they're all kind of like what you would consider you're okay with them eating any of those, any of the times, then you don't have to worry about it, right? Like if I got an orange and a banana and Peyton always wants the orange for a while, okay, what do I care if it's an orange versus a banana, right? But if I got like an orange and I got fruit snacks and I don't want her to eat yeah, you know what I mean? Like an orange, yeah, like, right. Like I don't want her to eat that every time. That's when you get into trouble. So make your snacks kind of consistent, which we've done a pretty good job of for the most part. But it makes sense, and have like I mentioned, have snacks that actually can fill them up, so they don't want to eat 24/7, which we maybe could do a better job of, or just. But our problem is it's not even that. I think she just stops eating them. So that's a little, and she just wants a different variety. She wants a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So what do you got, Brandon?
And so you start hitting on it. And it's healthy snacking options. So what does that look like? Fruits and vegetables, which Jerry mentioned. You got like sliced fruits, veggies, apple slices, carrot sticks, like cucumber rounds. Be careful around grapes. That's a choking hazard for kids. Actually,
cut them.
Up until I believe past 2. So they actually make specific grape slicers if you want to make it easy. That'll cut them.
We cut them. Yeah.
But you can use a knife, cut them into 4s. That's helpful. Dairy is a good potential option as well. Yogurt, like cheeses, milk, that's a good source of calcium and protein. Whole grains. So and really what you can do, I'm about to go through my little list that I made, but you can kind of look at that old school food pyramid that we had. When
I forgot about that thing.
Too. That's low key. That's flipped a little
bit.
They
changed it. They changed it. I heard about that.
Pretty much.
I think I saw an article.
Almost completely.
That's what's crazy about stuff like that, though, Brandon. Not to get off a tangent, but you know what I mean. Like we learn all this stuff, and even our parents and everything, but they always change it. So it's like, what are you supposed to believe?
People swear by it. Yeah, like I said, and with that said, the Earth is flat. But then like whole grains. You
would have someone really believing you think that.
Yeah.
Kyrie.
People believe it, and not only do people believe it, people can give you like actual.
There's a
backing.
whole. I don't want to call them a cult, but there's a whole group
that has like a lot of. Hey man, I did just enough in high school to get to 4.0 in my science classes, but I forgot about it after that. So I don't really. I'm not gonna argue with anyone because they probably know more about it than I do. But I still hold true of what I've been taught. The Earth is round until I'm proven otherwise. But ultimately, that was a heck of a tangent. Rice cakes, whole wheat toast, and they have a ton of different like snacking options. Kind of like I mentioned, like just like veggie, but they're like chips options as well. Proteins. So Bryce is actually a vegetarian, so tofu would fall in there under him. I'm not a vegetarian, so like turkey, chicken, beans, stuff like that as well. You eat whether vegetarian or not, you have a bunch of different options there. And then for most kids, unless you have an allergy, nuts and seeds are also options. Crushed almonds, sunflower seeds, things like that as well. Um,
Yep.
so those are all healthy snacking options for your kid.
Yeah, and speaking of healthy options, which is definitely key, Brandon. Sometimes when you're doing snacks, you're not at home. You're on the move, right? You're out. So sometimes you need stuff that's a little bit portable, and some of those snacks we mentioned aren't always portable. So things like packing trail mix bags, in little plastic bags, or those little, like you said, like you mentioned, like some chips and stuff. You get Ziploc bags, have them prepackaged so that you can carry them with you. Another thing too is like I know kids love like pouches, right? But there's like ones, and you can look it up. There's ones that are healthier on the healthier side, and there's ones that are a little bit on the less healthier side. And kids seem to like them in general, right? So maybe buy the healthier ones, carry those with you when you're out and stuff like that. Like I know Peyton, she went through like a weird phase. Like she loved pouches and she like hated them all of a sudden. Now she like likes like the applesauce ones, which okay, it's applesauce, right? Like good. So, but it's just it's convenient. Those are convenient, which is nice. Or yogurt. Like sometimes they have yogurt pouches if you're giving them yogurt, which I know Peyton loves yogurt. So that's another good thing. But be smart with your snacks is I guess my point there is have snacks too that you can carry in your diaper bag, carry in the car, carry when you're in the grocery store, because if you don't, you're definitely gonna regret it, because snacks are one of the only things that can keep kids at bay sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned previously having a variety of snacks. One of Bryce's favorite things, and if there's, I mean, there's a lot of things I can compliment Kelsey on. Her preparedness at any given time, especially when it comes to our kid, is like at the top of the list. Because he has all different kinds of snack containers, and one of them that we go
Mm-hmm.
to a lot is actually it's a snack spinner. So you can put like 5 different snacks in it. The kid has to actually lift up a latch, but in the middle there's a button that allows them. He presses the button, it switches to a different snack. And that's one of his favorite. Like, hey, that turns into like just a game for him. He'll just hit that thing and spin it all the time. But then they make snack containers that are almost like little mugs that the kid can fit their hand through, but it's pretty
Yep,
difficult
we
for
have a
them to
bunch of those.
dump the snack out. So those are all. Sometimes the container that the snack is in is as important as the snack itself. But we've kind of hit on this a little bit. But what are some benefits of toddler snacking? You have nutrient intake, so they can help toddlers meet like their daily nutritional needs that they might, if they're a picky eater, they might not get. Like during the meal, if they decide that day they're not gonna eat for whatever reason, so snacking can be a benefit. It gives them an energy boost. I know you probably can attest to this, Jerry, but you normally, typically, if your kid's cranky, is for, I say the top 2 reasons are they're sleepy or they're hungry more than anything
Mm-hmm.
else. Or lately in Bryce's case, because you told him no for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But that can be a like if there is any behavior issues or they're just kind of not seeming like themselves, a snack is a good way to give them an energy boost so they can stay active throughout the day. And it's not something that we think about, but in talking about the mood, it can, you're regulating their blood sugar. We don't necessarily always think about this. You kind of attribute that to like diabetics. At least I have in the past. But like having a stabilized blood sugar levels can prevent like mood swings and tantrums. So honestly, there's probably more people in our day to day lives at work who need to snack regularly. So the next time somebody's trying to go off on me, I might just
Throw a Twix
throw
at
like a
them, or was
granola
it
bar. Yeah,
Snickers?
a Snickers.
Is that
You're
a
not yourself when
Snickers?
you're hungry.
Yeah, exactly. No, those
Exactly.
are all good points, Brandon. And I think too, like we kind of mentioned, like what if you're super worried about snacking, like your kid just wants to snack all the time or whatever, and not eat their meals. Is what they say is to treat snacking almost like meals, meaning create a schedule. So if you eat breakfast at 9 every day and you eat lunch at noon, maybe snacks 10:30, right? And every day at 10:30, it's snack time. And
If they go to daycare or school, it's going to be like that.
correct. Like I know one time, like, and we have not done a good job with scheduling snacks because Peyton just wants them when she wants them, which maybe we need to be better at this. But I do know that I typically will get her a snack as soon as she wakes up from her nap, for example. She's been asleep. She wakes up. It's not time for dinner yet, but I know she's probably hungry. So we'll do a snack usually then, and then we're kind of at her whim the rest of the day. But but they say sticking to a schedule, having a schedule, treating it almost like a meal can definitely help. Them understand like, okay, this is snack time. It's not snack time yet. So I don't know if you had any other tips or tricks like that, Brandon, but that's kind of what I
My
found.
last thing along those lines, in addition to scheduling, would be portion control. So serve the snacks in a reasonable portion if you want to prevent spoiling their appetite. Jerry kind of mentioned a smaller portion. Jerry also just took a big pull. It looks like of a Manhattan to finish it off because he
I
knows the
did.
episodes. And is that cherry good?
It's delicious.
Hey, turn up. That was a little snack for him for the end of the podcast episode. And he only had one in there, so it was a perfect portion.
I did research
We
on the best whiskey cherries, just so you know, Brandon. So
When
they
we
came
were
in
in
the mail.
Traverse City, I had some of the best cherries for
The
whiskey.
cherries I normally use are actually Traverse City whiskey cherries. I ran out and I got ones that people say are even better. I don't think they are better, but I like to try a different one, so we'll see.
The guy swore that the cherries that I really like were like imported from France or something.
I remember I was sitting next to you when we were having this guy. Yeah, that was at
Who
Mammoth
knows?
Brewing or Mammoth Distillery, which I still have a rye from there.
They were really good. But yeah, portion control. I mean, that's really my last point on that. I mean, they're snacks. They're not supposed to be full meals, so don't spoil their appetites for dinner.
That's true, and that's probably a good place to stop, Brandon. I don't think this is something that we're going to stop dealing with anytime soon. But having snacks on you, making sure they're healthy, and regulating it to a degree is something you want to pay attention to. So, but Brandon, I think it's my turn for a dad joke. If you're ready for it.
I'm waiting with bated breath, cherry boy.
So Brandon, me and you are in a book club together, but I started on the side kind of reading a new book without you, and it's called Life Under the Bleachers. Do you know who wrote it?
Life under the bleachers?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
Oh, Seymour Butts wrote it.
We got it. Hey, I want to give you credit and me credit because we made it to episode, what is this, 94, without a Seymour Butts joke
Seymour Butts
on a dad jokes podcast. That was the daddest joke I've ever heard.
It was so dad jokish. I read it and I was
Seymour
like,
Butts.
it was like one of those ones that's like, I'm like, because if you were like 6 years old right now, you would think
You
that
thought it
was
was hilarious.
great.
That's
Yeah,
like,
no, which
that's
is
like
why
the
dads
classic
tell it.
prank call name.
Seymour Butts or Bend
I'm
Over.
looking for, yeah.
I like it.
great.
But anyways, it made me laugh, but it is definitely old school. So, but yeah, Brandon, this, I'm hoping that
I'm
this
thinking
this
like
night's,
Austin Powers names right now.
I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie to you, Brandon. I think that cherry just put me over the top because after no sleep last night, I'm hoping Avery sleeps tonight. Because if she doesn't, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You might see me with 6 Red Bulls on my desk or something. So you might be throwing Snickers at me all day just to
Hey,
make me through the day.
we'll make it work.
I'm just excited for you to join me. I'm just excited for you to get in
You
all
gonna be
the
mad.
all the
My
greatness.
experience is gonna be completely different.
Oh, it probably will be, but I mean, honestly,
I'm gonna sleep like a baby.
it is cool. It is cool though too. Obviously, just even like going through this, but like seeing it for the second time around, because some of it you can handle better, and then some of it I think just annoys you more, or is like just because you've gone through it and you're like, okay, all right, we're done with this phase. Like, can we just get through this phase? I know it's gonna end here soon. Let's just get through this phase. But then you also get like some of the stuff that you're just like, okay, I appreciate this. Like Avery was trying to roll over today, and I was like, come on, like I'm getting into it more, because I'm not stressed out about it. Like with Peyton, I was like, is she supposed to be rolling over? Is she not? With Avery, I'm just like enjoying it as it's happening. So there's pros and cons, but I'm super excited. Is everything going good with? I mean, we haven't hit on this, but really quick, is everything going good with the pregnancy?
Oh yeah, everything's tracking how we want. Kelsey still is not feeling as great as she did the last time with Bryce, but easy for me to say. But we just kind of keep moving on. I'm gonna pay for that. That was no good way for me to end that sentence. I'm sorry.
I like it. Well, I'll let you be done then,
Kelsey, I'm sorry.
He's sorry, Kelsey. Ain't gonna be no number 3.
Blink twice if you're not okay.
Exactly. But for anyone who hasn't listened to us before, please like all our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, and TikTok, all that good stuff. Please tell us what you think. Write a review. Give us topics. We love hearing from each and every single one of you. Go back and listen to more. Tell your friends listening. Like I said, it's kind of cool to listen as we're going through it because we're literally recording as we're living it, not talking about 2 years ago or anything like that. So, but as always, I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you've been listening to Dad Jokes.